think this is where we jump.
Get a little heart, have a fun time,
Woo!
break some spider webs. Yay!
I think the first time I jumped through that, I was like, there's a downstairs! Paper Girls, the thrilling coming-of-age series based on the graphic novels by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chiang, is available now on Amazon Prime Video. The series follows 4 young friends whose paper routes are disrupted in the early morning hours after Halloween 1988, when they unknowingly time travel to the future. While searching for a way back home, they'll encounter a very different future than they imagined, clash with members of 2 time-jumping factions at war, and learn how to work together to save the world. So in celebration of this time-traveling adventure, we're doing some time traveling of our own, talking about some iconic games in the Legend of Zelda franchise and how they have evolved through the years. Presented by Paper Girls, a new series on Amazon Prime Video. Joining me to talk about all things Zelda is IGN's very own Miranda Sanchez. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing excellent because we're about to get into Ocarina of Time, one of my favorite games of all time.
Yes, absolutely, same. I know we both have like big ties to the Zelda franchise, and so it was really exciting to get to talk more about them.
What was some of like the most nostalgic moments for you with Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, so for me, gaming prior to this had just been like kind of stealing my dad's Sega Genesis controllers and playing. I was really little, and then once we got an N64, I started playing games a little bit more along with my Game Boy Color, but my biggest connection to games with like a really intense story was Ocarina of Time. So whenever I got into this, I felt such a pull to the story, to the characters, to the music, to everything about this. And I think it was the first time that I felt like consequence for a game. So whenever, you know, some big moments happen later on in the game, whenever you go find Zelda and Ganondorf gets involved, I felt like responsible to go help Zelda. I was like, this is my fault. Like, I played this thing and I need to do something about it. And so that was just such a big part for me.
Yeah. How long has it been for you to play this game?
I don't think I've played this since I had an N64, which is, I think I probably played it a little bit in middle school again, in high school, just because we kept our old systems. But I haven't played the re-releases.
Yeah, and for anyone that's wondering, we're actually playing an emulation of it. It's available on the Nintendo Switch Online service, so it's something that comes part of the subscription membership package, and you can be able to play any sort of N64 game, and this was one of the many that you can play, and it's an iconic game. I think it even won like Game of the Year when it came out, whenever that was.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is considered one of the best games of all time for a very long time, until maybe another Zelda game dethroned it, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, the Breath of the Wild is still pretty cool. I think what's interesting about this game, this was probably one of the first times that we saw Link in a 3D and the 3D model. Prior to this, Link was always top-down 2D, you know, on Game Boy or SNES. This was like one of the first times that they actually made Link 3D, and then the world around him became 3D. So like, as we can see now, we're using the Z button to be able to look, and it was kind of like a new concept for N64, using Z to focus to auto-target, and just to see your environment, to see your surroundings, and a lot of it is pretty creepy, especially like the Deku Tree being infiltrated and poisoned by all these spiders.
Okay, there we go. All right, he wants to hear this. Would you like to play some? I think we'll probably hand off a little bit back and forth between these games.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
But something that's always stuck with me about Ocarina of Time is how influential music is, and I think music is always a component within the Zelda games. Personally, for me, my favorite song in Ocarina of Time was Song of Storms.
Oh yeah,
like with the windmill. I love the windmill. It's just, it's not obviously the most useful of songs, but I think it is one of the most beautiful of their songs.
It very much is.
Although you could argue that for basically any of the songs in here, except for maybe your own Scarecrow song. I always forgot mine. I would teach a Scarecrow a wild song, and I was like, I have no idea what I told you, buddy. And I think one of the things that I love, and I'm glad that we're doing 2 Zelda games here, is how you have like these echoes of places, even though it may not be the same place. And like, of course, there's a lot of like story reasons that we learned later about it with how the series is connected.
So Ocarina of Time set the precedent for the rest of the series, or a lot of the games that come after this, because it kind of created a parallel universe. So in Ocarina of Time, this child Link goes into the future in order to beat Ganondorf. So he travels through time to do this, but by doing so, he creates 2 other parallel universes. There's a parallel universe where the hero doesn't win, and there's a parallel universe where the hero does win, but the child version and the adult version are split into 2 timelines. And there obviously are consequences of their actions, because in the timeline where the adult Link is continuing his life, that's where Wind Waker takes place because the whole world gets flooded. And then in the timeline where the child is coming to existence and living his life, that's when Majora's Mask take place. And then we're going to be playing Link's Awakening later, and that takes place if the hero dies or isn't able to defeat Ganon. So it's interesting how these parallel universes take place and that there's consequences to that, just like in Paper Girls.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's so cool to see how all these different stories about time and multiverses have really sprung into popularity lately. But it's nice how this was sort of a subtle connection that was like, hey, these are obviously linked in some very linked in some very specific way. But it wasn't, as you said, until the Historia we got like the official confirmation of like, yes, this is exactly how they're linked and like which paths go for which Link's consequences and victories or demise. So I think it's really cool to have that. You know, all those actions have consequences, and
time traveling is a precarious situation, and there are going to be people who are time traveling police, which in Paper Girls there are. The girls in Paper Girls end up being chased after the time traveling police, and they're trying to rectify the situation.
Beat him with a stick. Get it. Oh
no! With the stick?
No, I think you just need to use that for the fire. But you can also. There you go. Oh, and this is another thing that I really love about the series is that you get so many puzzles.
Yeah, I found that Ocarina of Time was really how they did puzzles was really interesting. Like you had to think outside of the box.
I kind of wish I were in the industry when this is getting announced. I don't know, like being part of the conversations when something new happens or like just innovative. It's so cool to see how that changes the future of games. Like you look at these echoes of like trends and other things like we were saying earlier, you know, we have like this trend currently with multiverses and other selves and time travel and consequences. And getting to see sort of how like things in the past dealt with it, and I think now today we see the inspirations and maybe some of them take those inspirations and take them a step further, and it's really neat to be part of the conversation and seeing what's happening.
Okay, I think this is where we jump.
Get a little heart, have a fun time,
Woo!
Break some spider webs. Yay!
I think the first time I jumped through that, I was like, "There's a downstairs."
I was so worried because I was like, is this really the right thing to do? I'm like,
yeah.
Yep, there you go.
And then you're supposed to jump and you finally realize like, oh my god, this game is awesome.
Yeah, and I think just seeing how much it expands as well. It's so cool.
Yay! I made the mistake one time of rolling or like when you roll, you actually cancel the whole thing out. I was just like, no. So you've played this game, you've obviously beaten the game, right?
Yes.
What part of this game felt like the most challenging to you?
I would say probably the water temple, which I think is a pretty common answer for this one, as it is notoriously difficult. I remember I had some troubles with Jabu Jabu as well, just because it's basically kind of a big escort mission, and there's parts there that get a little challenging. What was the hardest part for you?
For me, it would probably be obviously Hyrule Field, because
oh yeah.
I was terrified of those damn skeletons, but once you become an adult and then you have to go into the actual like town and like all those undead and they just like jump on you.
Yes, so the re-deads, I was gonna say, those are actually the thing that scared me most in this game. Because they move really slow, they seem that they're not that imposing, but they are so terrifying when they get to you. The way they just like grab onto you and just like suck your life out and bite you. I'm like, oh no.
All right, here we go to the Deku Tree. So this was probably the most iconic part of this game, just because this is the first boss.
This one's really creepy when it first comes down because it's just this like foggy big room. You're locked in. You know you're at the boss.
Where am I supposed to go?
But where is the boss?
Come at me!
Ma'am?
Ma'am, Queenie? There she is. Okay, that's creepy.
Very. Parasitic armored arachnid. So one of the things that I hated about her is that she looked almost like a hand.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes her far more creepy.
Can I get this fairy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, heal me, fairy.
Nice. It's so gross how she squirms too.
Die, you dumb arachnid! Oh, damn it.
So close.
Oh,
So close.
Oh my god, am I gonna really die? Please die. Please die. Please die.
Or are you gonna try to get her up here?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Die.
Spider.
Die. 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 There we
Notice
go.
to leave our tree friend. Thank you. Very nice job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I didn't die.
You didn't die.
I didn't die.
You're playing on the edge there.
I know.
Half of our
I'm
left.
sweating so When I got to this part in the game, I was just like, how are we gonna get out of here? Like, it's like, how do we get? And then it's like you turn around, it's like, oh, there's like the little.
Yep, you get lifted right on out.
All right, but playing through Ocarina of Time really does bring back so many good and bad memories. But now let's talk more about the most recent entry, Link's Awakening Remake. Now, did you get a chance to play that one?
So I did not. I've never played Link's Awakening. I know it's a little bit different. I like the alternate settings. Like, I really loved Minish Cap. I liked Skyward Sword okay. Loved Wind Waker, and like it kind of takes Hyrule, and then some of them are just not in Hyrule, and I know that's the case with Link's Awakening.
All right, so we're jumping into Link's Awakening's remake. This is a recent remake for the original Link's Awakening, and like what we said before, this kind of game happened in the timeline of when, starting off of Ocarina of Time, if Link didn't defeat Ganondorf. But besides that, what are some other differences do you think? Obviously the aesthetics, the visuals, the graphics, the top down.
Right, so this is one of the few games that have gotten like a full makeover in the Legend of Zelda franchise and been redelivered in this way, which I think is such a cute way to do it. And I think a lot of folks have been clamoring to see if we're just going to get a lot of re-releases or if we're going to get something bigger with some of these older games that we really love. And in a way, like I like having the ability to play something like the original Ocarina of Time just because I think there's something charming about it. And it's notable to know how it looks and played in that time just because I think it was such a pivotal moment for games.
This is so cute. I love the aesthetic for this.
Yeah, and so it's cool because I know, again, this does take place away from Hyrule, and it is one of the few games in Legend of Zelda franchise that does do that. But, of course, you have very iconic characters like Mr. Owl. When you have all these like reoccurring characters, which is really great, and so there's like a level of comfort, but I like that because this is a remake, you get something that's such a different experience for the folks who never got to play it.
The interesting thing about the remake compared to the original is that you can take Legend of Zelda figurines, or the amiibo specifically, and they unlock different things in this game. So the amiibo for, let's say, I think this like the Link one will unlock a dungeon or buffs or like certain different things, and they're only available in the dungeons itself, so they're not going to be available in like the outside area. But I thought that was really cool, trying to tie in like other elements of Link or Link in other series, which is really cool because like if you think about it, we're using a Link that is from a different entire universe, parallel universe, to give you a buff in this universe, in this parallel universe.
These games are just so sweet to get back to just because they're comfortable, and I think even though there's, you know, sometimes a lot of drama or other things as well, there's always that element of comfort too, where you can just kind of ease back into the game really easily. Like there's not something mechanically that's so confusing that you don't know where to go, I would say.
I think it's really interesting also because this game, it has connections to the universe of like, you know, Link, and obviously, you know, Zelda's another, she reoccurs in this one, and you're having to save her as well. But in Paper Girls, the girls turn to themselves to save the world and trying to figure out what's going on, which is kind of like the same premise in this game. What is going on here? I'm so sorry.
I'm trying to see if we get a little Easter egg, but no. Okay, apparently the cuckoos in this universe, they're really chill if you beat them up a bit. I'm so sorry.
Which is so funny because if you try to beat them up in any other universe, even in Breath of the Wild, you'll get murdered.
They will kick your butt. They will kick your butt.
Did you ever get attacked in Ocarina of Time by other cuckoos? Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a rite of passage basically. If you didn't tempt the fate of the chickens, you messed up.
You're not playing Ocarina of Time or any Legend of Zelda game correctly.
Oh my god, my raccoon is so cute. As a raccoon, my nose is very sensitive to stuff like dust and powder. Oh, poor thing. You okay? You're not okay.
The lost opportunity here is not getting...
Wow! We felt so bad for this raccoon.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it turns its back on us.
It's like, ha 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 ha. Oh, damn, he literally just abandoned us. Oh, did he? Oh.
Fairy!
Fairies are iconic in Legend of Zelda.
They really are. Oh yeah, these little electric boys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's so weird, this little electric beams.
Yeah, I think you're gonna bombs for those later.
Yeah, I don't think we can kill them yet. So that's one of the things I also love about the Zelda games is that there's a lot of opportunities for things later. It's like, okay, mental map or, you know, physical map, maybe on IGN.com, wikis with our interactive maps, just throwing that out there. But, or also, of course, like this in-game map where you can add your own little markers and say, you know, this is a thing to come back for later. And remember.
So our objective is to get through the forest to go where? Is it to go to the castle?
So we have to get to the cave, but the problem is that he keeps saying we're gonna be lost, and so now, as you see, we're lost. So last time we went up, we get back to the ferry, so whatever would go to the left is a problem. So we have to figure out how to get out of here. And I think we have to have the dust. So he keeps warping us back here, but we need to get up here. So if we get the dust at the witch's hut, I think that's how we can avoid the raccoon and its dastardly plans. We want to provoke the allergies, which I think is very rude, but honestly, this raccoon started it.
Yeah.
You know, he chose to mess with us, and now he's gonna see what happens. Which, what are you doing? Why are you not helping me? What if I threaten you in your mouse? One of the things that I've always loved too about just general Zelda games is that they've always sort of included Mario and other Nintendo franchise Easter eggs. And I think having Easter eggs, I love Easter eggs, I love secrets, I love puzzles. Like, give me all the hidden bits and like let me figure it out myself. And I think that's just something that's really cool that they always have those as well. These bats are really cute. We have come to the cave. We're running. Got some green buds. Way easier than the red fronts we made before. All right.
So we're on the other side now.
We are. We have made it through the cave quickly with such speed. I can't believe we solved this puzzle so fast. I can't believe we got this toadstool. We're gonna go straight to that witch. We saw her and we said, hey, I think we gotta go find a toadstool. I'm like, hey, we remembered a cave.
Yeah,
Maybe there's something
found
cool
it
here.
right away.
Yeah, I can't believe it. The speed run we're doing, basically. It's incredible.
Speedrunners would be so proud.
Oh my gosh, she's really going at it.
She's really twerking over there.
She's gonna work out, you know?
All right, so I guess we're gonna throw dust
Bam!
on her.
Yeah, that's right, little raccoon. Get out of here.
What
What is happening? This is what happens with allergies. Please remember to take good allergies.
It was you all along.
It was our friend. How dare you? Yeah, go sleep. You prevented us from getting our riches. How dare you? Very rude. We got it. We got the little key. So cute, the tail
Oh,
key.
that tail key is
Okay,
so cute.
now we can open the gate. Part of me feels guilty whenever I go through like a wild area and I'm taking out all of like the natural life. It's like, you're just living here. I'm just running in, like, get out of the way. You know what?
You're all extinct.
It's okay, they'll respawn. That's the magic of this world. They respawn, they'll come back. We did it!
Yay.
Tail Cave! Tail Cave is super cute, I think, but that's the whole theme of this entire game, right? It's just all very cute. The remake here is just fantastic, and I love, again, that toy aesthetic that they went for.
Remember to watch Amazon Prime Video's Paper Girls, the new coming-of-age show based on the graphic novels by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang. Available now on Amazon Prime Video to catch all the time-traveling action. Thank you guys so much for watching, and for all things gaming, you already know, stick to IGN.